Hey guys, Ryan here. Hope all you guys are having a great weekend and a happy, beloved Sunday, guys. I also hope you guys are enjoying, at least kids, you're enjoying the somewhat end of your holiday Christmas break. I know I can feel a lot of kids saying that they don't want to go back to school, and hey, I fully understand it, Any of you kids out there watching this, or any of you out there watching this episode, I can relate. It always feels like holiday Christmas break just goes by fast, For some reason, it just does, okay? So I fully get it. If you don't want to go back to school, I would completely understand, and in a way not blame you one little bit. But anyway, guys, welcome back to the channel of Positive Time with Ryan on YouTube as we continue Stalking Awareness Month. Okay, so yesterday we kind of got into the intro a little bit, and really we just got a little info on the definition of stalking. Again, guys, the definition of stalking is really obsessive and unwanted attention. That really is the basic definition of it. And in this episode, we are going to talk about the percentage of men and women who fall victims to stalking. We're also going to talk about the percentage of men and women who become a stalker and not a victim. And then we will end this episode with the percentage of victims that actually know the stalker. And we're going to talk a little bit more detail into all of that, guys. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode, guys. And also remember, if there's anything regarding stalking you want me to talk about a little bit more, you can always leave it down below in the comment section. Okay, so let's actually work a little backwards. So instead of starting off with like percentage of male victims, women victims, and male and female suspects of stalking, we're actually going to work our way backwards, and we're actually going to start this episode off with the percentage of victims that know their assailant. Okay, so here's the thing, okay? Stalking, guys, is in a way a little bit similar to, I don't really want to say this, but a killing scene, okay? I guess that's the only way I'm going to use that on YouTube, okay? Because when you go to a killing scene, most of the time the victim knew the assailant. Like the majority of the time, okay? That is the exact same way in a stalking case. 80% of victims that are stalked every year know they're stalking. Think about it. 80% of victims that are victims of stalking, they actually know they're stalking in some sort of another, okay? And so here's the thing, guys. Number one, guys, stalking is very scary. Most stalking cases can go from stalking to having this person getting stalked and being the victim of stalking, actually in some sort of way getting physically harmed or kidnapped or even worse, killed. So I would, number one, take stalking very, very seriously. And, of course, guys, sometimes it is a little bit difficult to find out or know if you're being stalked. Really, maybe we could talk about this in another episode, but really what I would call a professional stalker, they kind of know how to become a stalker and actually get very good at it without drawing any attention. Okay, and so these are what you guys can do to, in a way, prevent stalking. Okay, think about it. If you live in a neighborhood, okay, people that live in neighborhoods, they don't know people in the neighborhood by name anymore, but they know them by face, or they know them by the vehicle, or by a pet they have, like a dog, a cat, a monkey, a goldfish. And so really think about that, okay? Or if you live in a apartment complex, you run into people every day. So you would know if this person lived in the apartment complex by seeing them, or by the vehicle they drive, or something like that. So what I'm trying to tell you guys and get at it is another way to to see that there is potential stalking. Yes, potential stalking is seeing someone in the facility that you live in that you have not seen before. Whether it's just a vehicle you don't recognize, it could be a person you don't recognize. Again, guys, that does not mean that there's a stalking incident or a crime going on by any means, guys. But you do got to remember, guys, that when you live in an apartment complex, or you guys even live in a neighborhood, you kind of know people literally by face, by a pet, by some sort of vehicle. So that always is important to notice, guys. Again, guys, 80%. And think about it this way, okay? When I say a vehicle, like a vehicle you don't recognize, you've lived in this neighborhood for at least 10 years. Let's say, you lived in the neighborhood for 10 years. So one whole decade, okay? And maybe the past couple of days or nights or maybe a week, you just see a car that you have not seen in the neighborhood before, and you could tell that there's someone in it. That's that is not really any proof of stalking, but that is also a proof of a little suspicious activity. You got a car now that you don't recognize in the neighborhood, and sometimes, guys, there's a really simple explanation for it. The owner of the car lives in the neighborhood and got a new vehicle, which is a plausible explanation without a doubt. But there's also another way around it, okay? I mean, think about it, guys. When it's kind of like what I said yesterday in the episode, okay? A stalker, guys, they're obsessed with the person they are stalking, okay? And the reasons behind it are they vary. It could be a love interest. It can be to plan revenge. Literally, guys, it could be other stuff too. I mean, literally, guys, when someone stalks someone, there is 1,000,000,000% a reason behind it. 1,000%. Okay, so really, what you guys can do, guys, to at least help someone, or prevent them from getting stalked, guys, is just it's be aware of your surroundings. Okay, and what I really mean by that is, when you are watching people walk their dog, or you're watching people walk throughout the neighborhood, maybe you've never seen them before. That doesn't mean it's suspicious activity, guys. I see people come through my neighborhood all the time, walking through my neighborhood, who don't live in the neighborhood. I've lived in my neighborhood for well over 10 years. So, it's really little things, be aware of your surroundings, okay? You know, whether it's a vehicle that just keeps coming through your neighborhood that, again, you don't recognize. Or it's people that are walking throughout your neighborhood and you don't recognize them and they're acting a little odd, you know. You know, if we're going to talk about stalking, this is one thing I am obsessed with when I'm out about, whether it's at the store, the mall, the movie theater. When I'm in the mall or in the grocery store, the one thing I do, and I get looked at very weird for this, is I'm always watching my back. Okay. When I go down an aisle at the grocery store, I'm constantly looking over my shoulder. Constantly. Okay. Doesn't mean I'm crazy. Doesn't mean I'm delusional. Doesn't mean I'm paranoid. You got to think about it. Okay. Stalking can happen anywhere, guys. I mean, a guy could be in the grocery store. Next thing you know, he sees this beautiful lady walk on by, and he goes from getting groceries at the grocery store to now wanting to follow this lady around. You know, so really, you know, I just always say be aware of your surroundings. You know, watch your back, okay? Doesn't mean someone is following me in an aisle. That doesn't mean they're stalking me at all. But it's always a good idea, guys, to watch your back. You know, it's kind of like a quote I was told at a young age by a cop. You know, you never know who's watching you. You just don't know. You know, and that quote has always stuck with me to this day. So, yeah, guys, again, 80% of victims that are stalked and all that, they actually know the stalker in some sort of way, guys. And again, guys, stalking, it should not be taken lightly because, like I said earlier, it can go from stalking to window peeping to kidnapping to assault to domestic violence, battery, and maybe even worse, getting killed. Okay, so stalking can start out, you know, as stalking, and it can turn out much, much worse. And obviously, you don't want that. So, there you go. All right, guys, sorry I had to take my two beautiful yellow labs that you saw earlier in this episode to the park. It was their morning or afternoon playtime. So, all right, guys, so now we're going to talk about the statistics of stalking victims for men and women according to Wikipedia and Google, guys. And I did see this in yesterday's episode, and yes, I am a guy, but over 70% of stalking perpetrators are male. It says about 70 to 72% of people who are arrested for stalking are actually male. And the rest are female. My math would not be that really good, but that would make it maybe 13 to 14% of stalking perpetrators are actually female, guys. 1 in 6 women are stalked every single year, and 1 in 17 men are stalked every single year. Now, it is important to note, guys, that stalking, guys, I mean, it could go various ways, okay? There are mainly 4 different types of stalking, guys. There is surveillance. There is 2 types of physical stalking. There's actually what they call physical emotional stalking, and then you got the other physical, guys. And then you got the fourth that is basically technology. So, you caught following someone on foot or following someone in a vehicle, surveillance, and then technology. Those are basically the 4 different types of stalking, guys. We'll go over that again in another episode, guys. But I was asked to talk about what every state in the United States, guys, has a different really law rule when it comes to stalking, guys. And what I really mean by that is in some states, if you have a history, like a criminal history, it could make it a felony. In other states, that would not be the case. So it does vary by states on the arrest and all of that. But yeah, guys, again, I'm gonna just say the definition. I know I said it in yesterday's episode, and I know I said it earlier in this episode. But really, any time you are it's unwanted attention, unwanted obsession. That is the literally pure definition of stalking, guys. And you know, there's a lot of things you guys can do, and all that. I think we are going to talk about that in the next episode. But the next episode is going to be a little bit longer, so I just want to fair warn you guys on that. But you know what, guys? Don't be afraid of it, guys. If you know someone that is potentially getting stalked, you can always help them, guys. And like I just said, in the next episode, we are going to talk about what you guys can do, okay? Because like I said, guys, it could start as just a simple stalking thing, and it can end in a kidnapping or even worse, guys. So it's better that you guys, number one, like I also said earlier in the episode, be aware of your surroundings at all times. But most importantly, guys, if someone you know is getting stalked, please don't be afraid to step in and help them, guys. But definitely in the next episode, we are going to talk about what you guys can do to take precautions, and also what you can do if you are getting stalked and all of that. So that will be in the next episode, guys. But yeah. So again, guys, 80% of victims of stalking, they actually know their stalker in some sort of way or another, guys. And just remember, guys, stalking is nothing to laugh about. It's a very, very serious offense. There have been a lot of cases where it started from stalking and it ended way worse. I've heard of cases where someone getting stalked ended up in the hospital. I've heard of cases of people getting killed that were stalked. And so it's nothing to put aside and just ignore, guys. It's a very serious offense, okay? You got to also think of like the stalker, guys. They are in some sort of way, they are obsessed. And it is very, very important that you got to know that the stalking behavior, guys, can make that person extremely, not just unpredictable, but dangerous. So don't take it lightly, guys. It is a very serious offense. Stalking can be a prison sentence. There are people serving over 10 years currently in prison just for a stalking offense, guys. So again, it can be a felony, a very serious offense, and depending on the case of it, it can result in prison time. So don't take it lightly, okay? But there you go, guys. So that's all I got for you guys in this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. In the next episode, we're going to talk about what you guys can do to protect yourself in stalking, and also help someone else out and all that. But again, anything else you want me to cover regarding stalking, you guys can always let me know down below in the comment section, guys, and all that. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.